Hey Dublin students, my name is John Whelan. I'm the Sales VP here at ABS Communications located in Norwalk, Ohio. So I hear you have questions on how to have a successful lunch meeting or dinner meeting or event with your prospective client. There are things you can do that can make it easier for you to understand what the customer wants. The best thing to do is be attentive and listen and really get to know the individual first before you really dive into what you want to talk about. So when I have a lunch, I generally learn about the customer while we're waiting to order or when we even order before we get our meal, before I dive in. And what I want to understand is I want to get information from this customer that I think I can use later to help close the sale. So I try to understand what their interests are, what they like. If they're married, they have kids, what they do on vacation, what kind of hats they wear at their job, things that maybe aren't just their typical job description. So what I really try to do is understand as much as possible about them, because then you can use that later when you're potentially trying to close the sale, or if you're trying to get them to invest in your fundraising. So the first thing I would tell you to do is listen and be attentive, because that is information that you can use. Information is key. And for me in sales, knowing as much as possible about the customer and what their holistic approach is and how they do business, or that individual personally, that is really important because people like to buy from people that they trust. I've bought like 13 cars from this individual because he knows my family. He's had a vested interest in learning about who I am, who my kids are, what I like to do. And so he used that when he was showing me cars and just made the buying experience easy. So that's what I would tell you is get to know the individual or the individuals to understand what they do and how they do things. And you can use that for later and make you feel comfortable in talking to them about those things. And then once usually what I do is once lunch starts to get there or dinner starts to get there, then I really dive into the meat of why we're there. For me in sales, it would be about, the proposal that we're talking about in person, and how we can make it beneficial to their business. And so I generally wait until the food is delivered before I really dig into the meeting. So it's not dive in, it's let's have a nice conversation, let's understand who they are, and find out a little about you too, because I think the customer wants to know about you. People buy from people that they trust. And so when they have a personal relationship or they know personal information from you, it makes it easier for them to say yes, or makes it easier for them to do business with you. So for me, look at this as a information gathering meeting to understand the person and then the company. And then when you have the food and you're starting to eat and you're starting to, the lunch meeting is starting to wind down, that's when I really dig in and talk about the services that I'm trying to render to try to get them to provide, the solutions that's going to make it easier for them to do business. So in a nutshell, there's no playbook, there's no right or wrong answer. I think if you have a significant other, they would tell you being attentive is important. It's similar in this situation. So, gang, I would just simply get to know them, get to understand their business, get to understand them personally, and then once dinner's there, then have that conversation about what you're trying to accomplish, and then you obviously will know what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to do, and I would just highlight those things, and then at the end, I would talk to them about, okay, this is what we talked about. So I would do a summary of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then I would just thank them for the meeting. It's simple, but effective. So being attentive, knowing a little bit about them, coming across as a person and getting to know them and having that personal relationship with them, I think is key to a successful meeting, a successful lunch, a successful dinner. And then talk at the end, just, thanking them for their business, thanking them for their business, thanking them for the meeting, and then trying to schedule for a future opportunity. So hopefully that helps. It helps us in sales to really come across as a person, not somebody just trying to sell something. So good luck, Dublin students, and thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you guys soon.